Hello, Math 173 students. We're going to move forward with lessons 18 and 19, division of rational numbers. Make sure that you're reading the goals and how to prepare. Those are available at the beginning of each of the lessons. In addition, you're reviewing what will we do in the lesson. You can hit pause at any time during this video if you want to read, reread, or take notes for any of the following slides. It's also suggested that you have a piece of paper and your Math 173 workbook. Again, you can hit pause if you need to collect those items. So the division of fractions. As we know, one part of your job as a teacher is to respond to what your children or students say about mathematical ideas in your classroom. Sometimes it's difficult to make sense of students' thinking and to determine if a student's thinking is mathematically valid or not, correct or incorrect. You'll review the video transcripts in your packet. This is under the title of Lesson 18, Classwork in your course packet. You're going to read carefully and look at the Elliott scenarios. While reviewing the transcripts, try to make sense of the student's thinking and determine if his strategy is mathematically valid or not. There are two different problems that you will review. Let's do the first one together. This is the first of the Elliott problems. Again, you're going to read the transcript and answer the following questions. Let's read this first scenario together. Elliott is a sixth grader who is asked to solve two problems. 1 divided by 1/3 and 1.5 divided by 1/3. In this scenario, the I is an indicator for the instructor or the teacher. So the teacher says, can you work with that problem, Elliott? 1 and 1/3. Elliott writes 3. The teacher asks, how did you get that so fast? Elliott responds, 1/3 goes into 1 3 times because there are 3 pieces in one whole. The teacher asks Elliott, can you draw a picture of that? And Elliott draws the image below. The teacher follows up by asking, so what have you drawn? And Elliott says, 1/3. And it goes into one whole. If I cut that into thirds 3 times, because I've got one of these, this will connect to this one. This will connect to that one, and this will connect to that one, showing the 1/3 is 1, 2, 3. The instructor asks, is that what division means? And Elliott responds, yeah. How many times it goes into that? The teacher responds, okay, nice job. You can hit pause if you want to reread this. 1 divided by 1/3 is the first Elliott problem. Okay, so let's review those initial questions together. What meaning of division was Elliott using to solve this problem? He recognized that the whole number could be divided by the smaller fraction. This is repeated partitioning. And we went over this in lessons 16 and 17, so you can go back to those slides if that would be helpful. How did Elliott come up with the answer of 3? Well, he illustrated one basic measuring unit, and then he divided it into 1/3. Was Elliott correct? And how do you know? Yes, The illustration was correct, and so was his explanation. Okay, so it might be helpful to look at this in a different way. You could also use the keep, switch, flip method for dividing fractions. So when we keep the first fraction. We're going to switch from division to multiplication, and we're going to flip. We're going to flip the numerator and the denominator. So let's take a look. We're going to keep the first fraction. Let me go back. We're going to keep the first fraction, 1 over 1. We're going to flip from division to multiplication. And then we're going to switch the numerator and the denominator. So we're going to move the 1/3 and we're going to make it 3 over 1. Let's take it one step further. We're going to keep, we're going to flip, we're going to switch. And so what is our response going to be? What's the answer? 3. Good. Okay, again, at any time, if you want to hit pause and go back, you certainly can do that. So there is a really great video that's available in the resource section, and you can click on that resource at the end of lesson 18. On this video, it will not directly link for you. So if it's helpful to see the division of fractions with that keep, flip, switch model, then you can hit pause on this video, go into the resources for lesson 18 and take a look at that. Okay, this is the second Elliott problem. So again, you're reading the transcript, reviewing the questions, and let's see what we come up with. So the instructor shows Elliott the problem 1 1/2 divided by 1/3. Elliott immediately writes 4 1/6. Some mental math, maybe? Can you explain your answer? Asked the teacher. Like there were, referring to his picture of in the original problem. All you did was add a half. So it was, the answer was 3 if I didn't have. So if this, and he circles the half in 1 1/2, was not there, then the answer would be 3. But that is there. And 1/3 goes into 1/2 one time. And now that I've got 1/6 left, 2/6 equals 1/3, and 3/6 equals a half. So I can take away 2/6 because I'm taking away 1/3 out of the half. And I have 1/6 left. The teacher responds, I see just how you thought about that. Nice job. Okay, now I don't know about you. Again, you could hit pause and read Elliott's final response and explanation. But when I first read this, it was really confusing. Okay, so again, how are you going to do the math as the teacher? How are you going to explain this problem to your children or students? Okay, so let's take a look. What's the meaning of the division that Elliott used to solve this problem? He was using repeated subtraction. How did Elliott come up with the answer of 4 1/6? Again, repeated subtraction. Do you know Elliott was correct? And how would you know this? Hit pause and think about that for a minute. finally, does the keep, flip, switch method give you the same answer? Okay, now I want you to hit pause and on a piece of paper, write down the problem too and try the keep, flip, switch method for yourself. Okay, let's see what you came up with for keep, flip, switch. Ready? 1.5 divided by 1/3. 1.5 converts to 3/2. What's the denominator? Down low, so that's 2. And what's the numerator? Numerator, up top. Okay, remember that you need to be able to explain not just denominator down low, right? But what each of those meanings are. Okay. So our original equation, we're converting 1 1/2 into 3/2 divided by 3/1. That converts to 9/6 divided by 2/6. Okay, hang with me. We're going to keep 9/6. We're going to flip it times. We're going to switch it. Put the denominator on top and the numerator switches to the bottom, the denominator space. So what's our new calculation? 54/12, and that converts to 4 6/12. And if we keep going, that converts to 4.5. Okay, remember to go back, right? The first 2 lessons, 16 and 17, that we reviewed last week in class will be helpful reinforcement. So looking at the equation above, what missing factor equation would match the meaning of repeated subtraction that Elliot used to solve this problem? In repeat subtraction problems, we can see that the solution is the number of groups, an operator. The solution to this problem tells us that the number of copies of 1/3 that fits into 1 1/2. Try to do Susie Q question on your own. Okay, hit pause here, work through these things. Welcome back. So let's take a look. Here's the correct answer for Susie. Susie Q has 4 1/4 yards of ribbon. She wants to make prize bags for each requires 1/3 yard of ribbon. So 4 1/4 divided by 3/4, and that is going to equate to 5 2/3. Show your work, describe your work, and think about how you would teach this to children. Think about your math vocabulary. Okay, here's a recap of 18. The dividing fractions is a great resource, and you know you have one more in that video. This will conclude lesson 18, and maybe it's time to take a break. Need some ideas? This is the end of lesson 18. This will be video 1 and the only one for 18. So take a break and come back and watch 19.